Hey everybody, it's Christine up today with a fall layout for the scrap room, and this is using the double shot kit. Probably the last fall layout you'll see for a while. So this collection is from Simple Stories, and you can see it's got a lot of really pretty pieces to it. I was totally drawn to the colors because they're so different, and I really like the patterns, and you know, it's Simple Stories. I just love pretty much everything they do. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and kind of loosely be following the Jumpstart sketch. So I'm going to start things off by cutting out this circle from this kind of fuchsia colored polka dot paper. And then I want to be able to include the hexagon paper that you see here, but I need to figure out how to include it and not have it be psycho busy. So thankfully, for starters, I had my daughter and my youngest son with perfect coloring for this collection. They both were wearing colors that just were absolutely perfect. Couldn't have been better. And so I knew I was going to have two pictures. But to include hexagons, I knew was going to take a little bit of work. So I decided to go ahead and fussy cut some hexagons out. And what I did is I fussy cut around them so that they looked like a flower shape that you see in quilting, rather than cut them out individually, just to save time, honestly. I did cut around the white outline to try and keep it matching up with, I had already matted my pictures in white. I matted my circle in white. So what you're seeing me do right now is just moving things around, playing with them before I start to add them to cardstock and get a feel for where the design is going to land. So this is what happens when you veer from a sketch. But at the same time, this is what happens when you veer from a sketch. You end up sometimes going somewhere that you really like. And honestly, this is one of my favorite layouts as of late. So with that said, I ultimately decided to just use two of those hexagon flowers, and I'm going to tuck them diagonally from top left to right on the circle. And then I'm going to put my pictures on there straight, and I'm going to add some layers by using just a little bit of that orange patterned paper tucked behind them. I'm also going to make use of these acorn stickers, which are adorable, and possibly a little bit of the ephemera. We'll see how it lands with everything. So I've got this really awesome big fall foam sticker, which is going to work great for a title. You can see it coordinates perfectly, coordinates with the pictures perfectly. I just love it now, just to decide whether I want it to go on the bottom or on the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just kind of figuring if I want to add in all these little details to create extra layers, or if I want to stop. It definitely increases the look of difficulty, and all the textures and everything definitely add to the look when you can create some layers, but sometimes those layers are just too much. And so figuring out where to stop and where to keep going is always a little bit of a challenge, and that's why you don't see me secure a lot of things immediately. I kind of play until I am sold. There's definitely no way I'm not including both as many of these acorns as I can. I want to work those in. So I will definitely get those into clusters on both sides of the layout. One of the things that is jumping out to me at this point is that the white background is pretty barren. It's not working for me. It's too plain. And this is where, like, I wish I had a sheet that was like white with like little off-white dots or things like that, like something very subtle going on, but it's just such a stark contrast to the colors right now that I'm not loving it. And so as I'm adding these acorns on and these other little details on, I am thinking through what can I do to soften the whole layout, make it a lot less just a lot less contrast going on. And, you know, contrast is not a bad thing, but there is such a thing as too much. And for me, this is one of those cases. So with that said, I am going to pull out this beautiful teal cardstock, and I am going to go ahead and trim down my white cardstock a little bit. And I'm actually going to trim it down, and then I'm going to mat it with white to create a second layer. And then I'm going to add it to the teal. I didn't like how it looked straight up against the teal. I needed something a little more. And so I actually took a piece of white cardstock that I had in my cardstock scraps that I actually had cut a circle out of already, and you can see it right here. But I could still use the edges of it, and so I just made use of that for this case. The other thing I'm going to do to soften everything is to add some outlining and maybe some stitching lines as well. Often I use outlining to add definition, and I am doing that today as well, but it's also softening up the whole thing and bringing it all together. So again, this is from the ScrapRoom Double Shot Kit, which is a 2-page add-on kit, which includes 2 brand new collections each month. And this one is from Simple Stories. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and we will be back with some new layouts from the December kits coming up in the next week.